What if I told you that you could eat roti, rice, pasta, pretty much all of your favorite carbs, and still burn fat? I know, it sounds way too good to be true, right? But the secret isn't about cutting out carbs. It's about understanding how to work with your body. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
So let's just ask it straight up. Can you really truly eat things like rice, pasta, and potatoes and still lose weight? I mean, everything we've ever heard says no way. But what if all that old advice is just wrong? Today, we're going to dive into 5 simple rules that completely flip that idea on its head. This could change everything for you.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to bust the great carb myth wide open. Then we'll get into the insulin story, which is crucial. After that, it's all action. 3 timing tricks, 2 plate tricks, and finally, we'll put it all together into your new carb plan.
Okay, let's kick things off with the biggest idea of all, the great carb myth. For years, we've been told that carbs are the enemy, that they're the reason for weight gain. But the real issue, it's not the food itself. It all comes down to how we're eating them.
And really, it all just boils down to this. The problem isn't the carbs in your diet, it's the wrong way of eating them. Think about that. If you can just learn to eat carbs correctly, you can actually speed up your weight loss, all without giving up the foods you genuinely love.
So to understand how to eat carbs the right way, we need to meet the main character in this whole story, a hormone called insulin. The easiest way to think about insulin, it's your body's official fat storage manager.
So what does insulin actually do? Well, it's pretty simple. Whenever you eat, especially carbs, your blood sugar goes up. In response, your body releases insulin. Its main job is to grab that sugar out of your bloodstream and push it into your cells so they can use it for energy.
I love this analogy. Imagine your bloodstream is a super crowded street after a big concert. That's all the sugar. Insulin acts like the police, showing up to clear the street. It directs that sugar crowd off the street and into their houses, which are your body's cells.
Now, this whole thing follows a very predictable chain reaction. Step 1, your blood sugar rises. Step 2, insulin gets released. Step 3, that insulin pushes the sugar into your cells. But here, and this is the key, any sugar that's left over, any excess that your cells don't need right away, gets converted and stored as fat.
And this right here, this is the most crucial piece of the puzzle. When your insulin levels are high, it basically sends a signal that locks down your fat cells. Your body goes into storage mode, not burning mode. That means it literally cannot access its own stored fat for fuel. It doesn't matter how little you eat or how much you exercise. If insulin is high, the fat-burning door is closed.
Okay, so now that we know high insulin is the bad guy, how do we control it? Let's get into the good stuff, our first set of actionable tips. We've got 3 simple timing tricks, because when you eat is often just as important as what you eat.
All right, trick number 1. This is a total game changer that very few people know about. It's called the cook, cool, reheat method, and this works like magic for starchy foods like rice and potatoes. Here's how it works, and it's pretty cool. When you cook something starchy like rice and then let it cool down completely, say in the fridge overnight, a part of that starch actually changes its structure. It becomes something called resistant starch. This stuff is digested way more slowly, which means you get a much lower, much gentler blood sugar spike compared to eating it fresh and hot. And a lower sugar spike means less insulin is needed. It's that simple.
Okay, timing trick number 2, and this is a mistake so many of us make. We save our biggest carb-heavy meal, that big plate of pasta or a few rotis, for dinner, right before we wind down.
Now, the reason this is a problem is really simple. During the day, you're active, your body is moving, and it's more sensitive to insulin. So those carbs are likely to get burned up for immediate energy. But at night, your metabolism is slowing down, your body is getting ready for rest. Those exact same carbs are way more likely to be taken and converted directly into fat. And our final timing trick is maybe the easiest one of all, but don't let that fool you, it is incredibly powerful. After you finish a meal, instead of crashing on the couch, just get up. Go for a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk. That little bit of movement helps your muscles immediately start soaking up the sugar from your meal for energy, which stops it from hanging around in your blood and causing a big insulin spike.
So we've nailed the timing, now let's talk about what's actually on your plate. These next 2 tricks are all about how you build your meals to keep insulin low and keep your body in fat-burning mode.
First, you've got to understand this concept of naked carbs, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when you eat carb-heavy foods all by themselves,
with nothing to cover them up. Think about eating plain bread or having a couple of biscuits with your tea, or just a bowl of white rice. These digest super fast, hitting your system like a sugar bomb.
So what's the solution? So simple. Never let your carbs go out naked. You always want to dress them with some protein, some healthy fats, or some fiber. So instead of a plain roti, have that roti with dal, with some veggies and maybe a little bit of ghee. These other foods act like a brake, slowing down how fast the carbs are digested and totally preventing that sharp insulin spike.
And get this, here's an amazing little hack to go with that. If you add something acidic to your meal, like squeezing some lemon juice over your veggies or having a salad with a vinegar-based dressing, you can reduce the blood sugar spike from that meal by a staggering 40 to 50%. That is huge.
All right, our final trick. And honestly, this one might be the most powerful and is definitely the most overlooked. It has nothing to do with what you eat or when you eat it. It's all about the order in which you eat the food that's already on your plate.
The secret here is to save your carbs for the grand finale. Seriously, start your meal with your fiber. That means your salad and your vegetables go first. Then move on to your protein and your fats. By eating your carbs, like your roti or rice, at the very end of the meal, that fiber and protein you ate first creates this kind of protective buffer in your stomach, slowing down sugar absorption and keeping your insulin nice and low.
You see, when you start combining these really simple tricks, you're not just eating anymore. You're actually executing a plan. You're actively shifting your body's default setting from store fat to burn fat. So let's do a super quick recap. These are your 5 new rules to become a carb master. Number 1, cool and reheat your starchy foods. Number 2, avoid those heavy carbs at night. 3, take a short 10 to 15-minute walk after your meals. 4, never ever eat your carbs naked. And number 5, always eat your carbs last. You now have the complete toolkit to manage your body's response to carbs, to take control of insulin, and to switch on your body's fat-burning engine. And the best part? You can do it all without giving up the foods you actually enjoy. So the only question left is, which one of these simple, powerful rules are you going to try first?